Hey, buddy, you okay?
No, I'm just meditating.
Oh, good. You want to take your meditation to the next level?
Yeah, sure.
All righty, let's do it.
It's not going to be like a biblical sales thing, is it?
Nope, not at all. How about if we show you a way that you could be meditating throughout the day and actually take your life performance to the next level? You up for it?
Let's go.
All right, here we are once again in the barn at lovely Pittsfield. As it was before, it is still raining outside.
Same as it ever was.
Same as it ever was, again. And I am still Colonel Nye. And once again, I am joined by Joe DeSena, Johnny Waite, and Sephra. And today's interview, we're talking about Marc Von Musser, who is a Tony Robbins life coach.
He's the Tony Robbins
He's
life coach.
He's the number one cat.
He's excellent.
All right, well, we'll hear what he's got to say, and then I guess we'll talk about whether he's excellent or not when it's over.
Fantastic.
You're skeptical.
Not of him, of the concept of a life coach. We'll see.
All right. All right.
I managed to get through life without one, unless you're calling it, parents, wife,
mentor,
elder.
whatever.
But okay.
I'm rolling.
We are here in sunny San Diego, Spartan Up the Podcast with Marc Von Musser. Is that German?
Austrian.
Austrian. I did an Ironman in Austria.
Nice.
He is the director of coaching for Anthony Robbins. Let's put it right here. Anthony Robbins Coaching, Vision, Action, Results. Sign up when you're ready. How's that? So tell me, what does the director of coaching do?
The director of coaching is to help create an army of coaches that are helping people turn their dreams into their realities, helping them move past their blind spots, what's been stopping them from turning those dreams, making them something that they're proud of, that they're actually living. Most people are living significantly below their potential, and we just help them realize that potential, and I make sure our coaches deliver.
And how long have you been doing this, or how long is this the vision of Tony Robbins? A lot of us know Tony Robbins from the tapes.
Yeah, Tony's actually been in the self-development and human realization, if you will, for well over 35 years. Worked with over 50 million people. Coaching has worked with, I believe, over 1 million people. And what's unique about Tony, though, is he was excited to see a result, but he also was curious about why. Why did this person do it? Very much like you. Why did that person finish when another guy with more talent did not? And so,
what did he find?
Well, part of it is what you're finding, too. It's that inner why. If a person has a big enough why, they can do everything. Then if...
In other words, if I'm saving my kid that's under the car, that's a good enough why to lift the car.
Correct.
If I'm just going out there because I'm probably not getting it done.
Yeah, Tony found that success is not a matter of resources. It doesn't matter if you're born poor, doesn't matter if you're born rich. The finish line will be determined at 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. Most of the colleges, most of the world is teaching only the mechanics. This is how you run, this is how you train, this is how you lift. But at the end of the day, to cross the finish line for a Spartan race, to do a triathlon, you have to have a big why, and that why will show up every day leading up to that event to make sure you're training and you're training intelligently. So once you have your why, then you backload it with intelligent, inspired action. And then you can model a fast way to speed up the process. Don't reinvent the wheel. Find somebody that's living the life you want, model and replicate what they're doing, and you'll be able to do it.
Why can't some people find the why?
Partly because they don't look for it. Most people are so conditioned thinking that somehow there's a pill, there is a special course, there's one thing I'm missing, when in reality, human potential is unlimited. And there's a power and a fire within every single person that if they can tap it, there's nothing they cannot do. And if you look at Tony as a perfect example, Tony was a kid that he was like the student body president in high school, got kicked out of his house, sleeping on his uncle's couch, and was cleaning banks from 12 o'clock at night till 3 in the morning on school nights. But that allowed him to build intestinal fortitude to realize this is not the life I want to live. And through a series of whatever, when you study people that became hyper successful, you will find out there is a drive. Even
but that drive you're saying is driven by the why.
Correct.
And so when I have a why, you have a why, Tony clearly has a why. 7 billion people on Earth, 6.9 of them probably don't have a why.
Correct, and that's why they're living below their means.
Right, but so the real question becomes, how do you get them?
Hire us as a coach.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
All right, interview's over.
Yeah, no. there's ways that people can identify a why.
I've got some women here that are saying they know how. How? Oh, you want to get hired?
So the other, to identify a why though, you can
Yeah.
look for things that, as Tony says or life says, that juice you. Meaning, what would you do if money was not the driver?
If you could do anything today.
Yeah, if every single job paid the exact same amount of money, what would you do?
It's a great question.
And what would you do, for example, where time stands still? When you've been, for example, I found the way I found mine was, I would make a crap load of money in real estate, and as soon as I had enough money, I would stop selling and I would go teach other people how to do it for free. Because I was worried about them not providing for their family. So I'd show them how to do it. And all of a sudden, I got so much energy and juice out of that. The only reason I would sell is to refine my skill set. And then I'd go teach it for free. So I found in my process, I was doing that for free and I loved it. I felt like I was on purpose and I was alive. And all of us have that within it. So first question is, what juices you? What do you love to do? Where do you feel like I made a difference?
Before we answer that, we're going to take a break and come back in a minute, and I'm going to learn how to sell real estate.
I hope you're not sitting still while you listen. If you are, you better get a burpee break in.
All right, so we're back. You're going to teach us how to buy and sell real estate. Is that what you did?
Sure.
You bought and sell real estate? So those late night TV guys, did they help you?
Oh yeah, went to all of those. I had actually spent over $100,000 on training
Before
I got to Tony.
Where'd you get the 100,000?
I just worked at weighted tables. I worked in real estate in the day. I waited tables at night. Everything I made, I was going to a seminar, buying a book. Period.
Who was one of the guys you?
Well, the funny ones that I went to. I mean, there was Dave Delgado. If you remember Dave, Dave made a fortune and then lost it, and I believe spent time in prison. There was Al Lowry. There was. Who are some of the other guys? There's so many of them.
Tell me about the Tom Vu guy.
Oh, yeah, Tom Vu. So, Tom Vu seminar. Come to my seminar. You get women like I have. Look at my boat. Look how rich I am. You're not rich. You lazy. Come to my seminar. You get rich and money like me.
And were they making money actually buying and selling real estate, or were they making money?
Seminars. So now, there's a couple things on that. Yes, there were a few that actually did make money that did it. However, the money in the seminars was significantly more. The other thing that shifted was the market where they made their money was no longer the same.
Right.
So yes, it worked 10 years ago when they did it. Now they've done 10 years, but their systems would not work going back 10 years.
Right.
There's only one or two that actually were really effective. And
because prices went up.
The equity lines, the credit requirement. In the old days there was guys showing you how to use credit cards to use that money to then buy a house, flip it, and get out of it and pay back the card and make a bunch of money.
Got it.
But one of the myths I would say too is that the people have made a fortune selling a magic pill. And the real magic pill is simply that personal power within you. When people are willing to commit to an outcome and stop qualifying and always looking over your shoulder for something easier, the path is a lot easier than you even thought.
Yeah.
But people make it so hard because they're, oh God, is there a pill? Is there something easier? Is there something where I can make more money in less time?
We grew up in a neighborhood that was all organized crime, and my father used to say they do so much work trying to beat the system.
Yep.
If they would just apply it to the system, they'd do 5 times better.
That's right. And start with committing to pay whatever price success asks of you. Don't question the price of success. Pay it and pay it gladly. And you
That's a great sentence.
Yeah. It'll come to you in droves.
Yeah.
And you'll also find, it doesn't matter if you're training for a triathlon. In one of our clients, amazing young lady, she's dropped 150 pounds from a lady who couldn't swim. She was over 300 to 400 pounds. She's now done a triathlon. Think about that. Somebody that didn't know how to swim, 300 pounds or something, and now she's doing a triathlon.
She committed?
Yes. She found her why, and she started driving. So the only thing that's impossible is what you think is impossiable.
Right.
What if there was no impossibility other than that? And that's a fun way to live is, if somebody wants wealth,
it builds on itself, right? Because you start feeling healthier.
Yep.
Right? You start feeling purposeful, and then you're probably doing more. You start to get more of a fire in your belly, and then everything just starts to work.
It's one of the reasons I love Spartan as well. Spartan is what Mark Divine, another friend of yours, talks about, is a crucible event, meaning it's almost impossible to find out what's really in the tank unless you challenge it. And so if you look at people's lives as a scale of 1 to 100, 100 is complete self-actualization, meaning you've mastered your physical, emotional, intuitive, your mental, as well as integrated all of that. Most people will live 0 to 20. That's where life is comfortable. But in order to grow, you need to push that 20 barrier and get up to 25 or 30. You do those through something like Spartan, where if it doesn't scare you and it's not a challenge, then you're not building muscle.
Sure.
Muscle is built when you're pushing yourself past what you can do. And that's what I love about Spartan, is it's helping to get people off the couch.
And uncomfortable.
And challenging them to find a stronger depth of strength they didn't know was within them.
So what would you say to the people out there that are maybe a little nervous?
About Spartan?
Anything. Spartan.
Celebrate it. If you're nervous, and it's like one of the challenges we're doing with the coaches this year is they're going to be the Spartan races. We're going to do the Spartan races and Kokoro.
Hang on 1 second. Were you wiping your nose, or are we getting near the end?
No, you're good.
Oh, good. Okay.
So that challenge, though, is if it does not challenge you,
Yeah.
it's like, would you go to the gym right now and lift those little purple weights? For you, no. They aren't going to help you build muscle.
I do the greens.
Yeah, exactly, because you've moved up.
Yeah.
But, those little 2-pound weights are not going to do anything.
No, I agree. I agree with that.
So for somebody, if they're nervous, first, again, connect, why are you doing it? Why am I going to do this? Is it going to...
Well, some people would say, why the hell would I do that?
Are you talking about Spartan or go after something
Anything,
crazy?
Ironman, Spartan, marathon, whatever it may be, right? I mean, if we have 1 million people a year doing this, and there's 7 billion people on Earth, there's a lot of people
not doing
that
it.
that are not doing it, that are saying, why? That's stupid. Why would I do that?
For me,
it's not. If you think about it, society, it's not logical.
Correct.
Why would you put yourself? Everything we do is make ourselves comfortable, make things more
Right.
tidy, organized, clean.
I would say to build the human spirit. Because in order to build the human spirit, though, human spirit is not built without challenge, and it's the same as muscle resistance. Well, there's also the human spirit needs to be built and developed. You will not do that playing it safe. The other part I would ask is, why would you not? You only have one go-around, and most people that we talk to are bored to death. They played it safe. They followed the rules. They went to college. I'm not knocking college. I've got several degrees.
And that's 1 million people that are somewhat successful if they're hiring you as a coach.
That is correct.
And you're seeing most of them are playing it safe.
Yeah, even millionaires and billionaires.
Right.
They're like, they get to that plateau where they've made $10, $100 million,
Not
and
happy.
they're like, now what?
Right.
And they're bored to death. And so what if part of it, you to identify and connect to who you truly are, you have to get uncomfortable?
Yeah, what was it? A rite of passage.
Yeah.
We right? Our culture doesn't have one.
That is correct.
And wouldn't it be awesome if everybody had to go through and push themselves and just see what they're made of?
Yep. Find your breaking point. And
Yeah.
then, last year we took a bunch of coaches and we crossed the Grand Canyon. We went hiked all the way across, 27 miles across, and then came back the next day.
Nice.
And it was interesting because you won't know what your breaking point is until you go for it.
Right.
But to train for that and to get there, it took everybody's life to another level. They became better husbands, better wives, better coaches, better people. They found a depth of empathy they didn't know existed. They found a depth of their own strength they did not know, because it hurt. When you're, I think, 6-8 miles in on a 14-mile hike and you're carrying someone else's pack and your legs and you haven't even started the hard part, it was awesome.
Yeah,
but when
good
you
test.
get done, you now have a new version of yourself that you did not know existed.
And you've moved that threshold.
Correct.
Right?
And then you're also now inspiring everyone else in your life.
Yeah.
So, but you only have one go-round. And like I was talking
I like to say that. You and I think alike.
suck
right?
the juice out of life.
Yeah.
Go live it. Get off the couch. Go do something. So, and I loved the Spartan races, as I was telling you. I remember I got all excited because of something you told me about that. I can't wait to do that one too.
Yeah, all right. And what's your favorite exercise for the 4 million plus Spartans out there that are?
I love martial arts, but right now training for Kokoro, I love all of it. And that's, somebody else asked me, how long should I run? How long should I lift weights? How long? I said, till you love it. Doesn't matter if you're running. It doesn't matter if you're lifting. It doesn't matter if you're doing martial arts. It will be uncomfortable and be painful. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You start out, get off the couch, go run a mile, your lungs are going to burn, your legs are going to feel like lead. You're going to ask yourself 1,000 times, why am I doing this? Keep doing it. Within a year, you will love it. And the same thing with lifting weights. And it was like we just rucksacked, up a hill. It hurt. But the third time we did it, we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I used to bitch about this.
Right.
And where else in life does that show up? Now when you go to business, you're the guy there that still has grit after a 16-hour meeting. You're the guy that can still think creatively when everybody else is mentally done.
You've got endurance.
And that's what separates the winners from the losers.
You're awesome. How could people get coached by you?
Great question. I would say probably send us, I'm trying to think of what the best way to do it is.
They should run to you somewhere. Like, just give them an address. They've got to...
I know. Well, I would say, too, is to go ahead and send us an email to lifecoaching@tonyrobbins.com.
Got it.
Lifecoaching@tonyrobbins.com, attention Mark. And I'll make sure that you get specifically handled, and it's MARC too. But send it, and I'll make sure that we get somebody that will give you a free coaching session, a one-on-one to help you clarify where you are in life, what's working, clarify what your dreams are, and help you close the gap.
Love it.
Because that's really what coaching is.
Yeah.
Show you where you are, because most people can't even read a map.
Right.
And certainly of their life. They don't know what's preventing them, so they're taking action, but they're not intentional.
They're not getting
Correct.
anywhere.
And they're not getting the result they want. And most people have honestly given up. So if you can re-spark that and let them know it's not over, that's when life gets fun again.
So yeah, that was a phenomenal example of what's made Tony Robbins so successful, and obviously it's translated down to this guy. He talks a lot about the idea of visualizing and feeling, and he had you going through that meditation. If you were listening to this and you're not watching it, actually go on YouTube and watch this one, and you'll actually see Joe meditating. It's pretty cool.
Who knew?
But Colonel and I mentioned about life coaching and saying I've gotten through life without a life coach, and I'd suggest that you actually were in a structure where it was inherent, where you would have mentors based on moving up the ranks and things like that. And I'm thinking that there probably always were people you had a coaching relationship with, even if you didn't call it that. And so I love that his thinking is that if you want to succeed in business, in life, and whatever, you may not be in a structure that has inherent coaching built into it. And it's funny, I come from a different angle with this one, because that's actually what I did before I started working with Joe, was a professional life coach. And
I didn't know that one.
Doctor.
That's okay.
That's going to affect the dynamic here for sure.
He's doing great.
But no, I just have seen where there's so many people who they're not clear on what they want. And I've seen this come up again and again and again this season in these interviews, is getting clear on what you want and then having somebody hold you accountable to getting there. And in the military, you have an objective and you have a plan. But in life, most people don't have an objective. They don't have a plan. They just go through life just wandering. So to me, that was the key to his whole thing, was I'm going to help you get crystal clear on what you want, and then I'm going to help you put your focus there. And so from whether it's a life coach or a mentor or a friend or a boss, I think that we all need somebody to help us do that.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with that. I guess it's, I don't know, maybe it was just the term, but I think you're right. I mean, everything you just said, I agree with. I don't think anybody makes it by themselves, and you have to. And he talked about modeling yourself on successful people.
Yeah,
and I think that's correct. And I think, and you've said this many times about being the average of your 5 friends and stuff, but you should always, at least I always did, intentionally place myself in a pack that can run faster than I can. And I'm not just talking physically run, but smarter guys, bigger guys, stronger guys.
Wrestlers, right?
Whatever.
Well, like here, for example, clearly.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, I am trying to keep up.
With Sephra's
I'm still
vocabulary.
trying to remember ovulation or whatever it was. But
Alluvial soil is very good.
So that's the key, though.
Yeah.
I mean, is that I think you look at how other people made it, how they made themselves successful, and then you take things from them. But not everybody can see that for themselves. So if somebody else is out there that will illuminate that path for them, I guess it's a good thing.
Every road I've taken that's been better has been because there's been someone there that's been, for lack of a better term, a coach.
Sure.
Mentor. And you'd be surprised, because older people just want someone to ask them for help. And the young people don't tend to ask.
Speaking of the young people.
Respecting the elders.
What do the trees do out there in the woods?
No, I mean, I think, something that he says is live your dreams. Most people live significantly below their potential. And I think that's true. And I think if there aren't people that are celebrating you, even in times like my twin brother goes in disaster relief zones, and this is a random story, but they think they've lost everything. They have nothing. That they don't have any resource. He brings them stuffed animals, right? It seems like, but which gives them happiness, gives them joy, and then they start to remember. I still have something to give, right? Because I can still move. I can still help build things. And if you change that like lack to a surplus, if you kind of do a paradigm shift and you allow people to say like, these are your dreams, these are the gifts that you have. Don't think about what's limiting you. Think about what's propelling you and what's inspiring you and what resources and elders you do have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you
Your
say
inner why.
and when you say what else you do have, and you had started to mention about the idea, always ask for help. Because people, especially people who've already achieved success, they want so badly to give something and to be relevant. So, it's another example where your brother's able to go and give something. Everyone wants to contribute. And so don't be afraid to ask for help, because there'll always be somebody to help you.
Well, just if I may add quickly, I mean, like when you go there, there's a lot of these relief organizations that are like, here are all the water bottles. And they're like, we have no idea how to distribute it. And so it's finding that like the indigenous capacity, right? And so what he does is he finds the people who already have the churches and already have the community built around them and distribute it to them, right? So instead of doubling your work and doing things and just kicking yourself in the face or foot, whatever the thing is, find the people that are already doing the work that you need help with and connect with them, and they're gonna like the mycelium help. Well, you don't like my adages? Oh, they're a little confused.
Kicking yourself in the
foot. I know, I'm a linguist. So can I say?
We talked last time a lot about Colonel I's Interactive Corner. I think I have a new feature, and it's going to be Sephra's Glossary. We're going to have a glossary on the website with all the words like indigenous capacity that Sephra uses that the rest of us have to reach for our dictionaries. We will put a glossary on. It's going to be called Sephra's
Neologism. I make up my own words, and people always say, Sephra, it's not a word. I go, actually, I'm a neologist, because then you sound smarter and you can make up your own words. You guys can all use that.
So, being the professional seguer, if you want to see Sephra look smart, tune in again to SpartanUpPodcast.com and go to Sephra's glossary and see the neologist.
Neologians. Oh, neology. Very good. All right, I like it.
For show notes, video, and audio of this episode, visit SpartanUpPodcast.com/046. Thank you for listening to another epic story of success. Get more at SpartanUpPodcast.com or follow us on Twitter at SpartanUpPod. The Spartan Up Podcast is brought to you by Spartan Race.
Make sure you're fueled up for your next Spartan race by joining our food of the day at Spartan.com.